What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review AEW Rampage Grand Slam from September 24th, 2021, coming to us from Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. This week for Rampage was a little different. Unlike every week for Rampage is usually a 1 hour show, but this week it was a special 2 hour show of Rampage, and this was a taped show. This was actually taped right after Dynamite, I believe. Usually when I was at the Prudential Center show, they filmed Rampage right after Dynamite, and I assume that they filmed Rampage right after Dynamite at Arthur Ashe Stadium. But overall thoughts on the show, I thought this was a really, really good show. The card, in my opinion, was really stacked. Of course, we had CM Punk's first TV match in 7 years. We had the SuperKliq in action. Santana and Ortiz and the Lucha Bros were just going balls to the wall. They absolutely killed it in their 8-man tag team match against HFO. You know, we also had that lights out match with Minoru, Suzuki, and Lance Archer going up against John Moxley and Eddie Kingston. You know, we got a lot to cover on this show. I mean, I thought this show was really good. Just the crowd was awesome as usual. Any AEW crowd, whether it's a live or a taped show, they always deliver. Not only that, it's just the matches on this show were just phenomenal, in my opinion. And I wasn't really as tired as I thought I was going to be because, you know, this show ran from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, and usually I got burned out whenever Dynamite was preempted to Fridays from 10 to 12. I usually got burnt out with stuff like that. But before I get on with the review, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content. And also follow me on social media on Instagram and Twitter for more basically in the know of when I'm going to be uploading my videos. So be on the lookout for those things. And yeah, let's get on with Rampage. The show starts, of course, with CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Again, this is CM Punk's first televised match on television in 7 years. And, you know, as usual, CM Punk looked great, whether it was in a match or whether it was in a segment. And that promo that he cut this past Wednesday on Dynamite was awesome. I really enjoyed that segment. CM Punk, again, he's one of those wrestlers, alongside with wrestlers like Eddie Kingston, is one of those wrestlers that every time when he goes out there and cuts a promo, you really believe what he is saying. But, yeah, we're going to be talking about Powerhouse Hobbs versus CM Punk. CM Punk, by the way, CM Punk is no longer using the ring attire that he used back in his match against Darby Allin at All Out. He brought back the trunks. And I kid you not, he looks exactly like he did back in like 2011, 2012, 2013, and early 2014, of course, before he left the WWE. He literally looked exactly like he never left wrestling. And that was what a lot of people thought in his match with Darby Allin, and I couldn't agree more. You know, his match against Darby Allin was really good, and this match with Powerhouse Hobbs was really good as well. And one of the reasons why I like what CM Punk is doing is because of the fact that he is elevating a lot of younger stars in the promotion. You know, he elevated a guy like Darby Allin. Now Darby Allin's going to be solidified. You know, he's going to be a future main event star. You know, he elevated a guy like Powerhouse Hobbs, and you know, I believe he teased it. His next match is going to be against Jungle Boy. Now, granted, Jungle Boy is going to be wrestling Adam Cole this Wednesday on Dynamite, but maybe, who knows? You know, he's probably going to be wrestling Jungle Boy maybe in a future episode of Dynamite, or maybe I can go far. Maybe he's going to wrestle him at Full Gear. Who knows? That's most likely probably not going to happen because he's not going to be wrestling. Because, you know, I don't see him not wrestling for the entire month of October. That'd be ridiculous. But I do think that his next match is definitely going to be against Jungle Boy. I don't think it's going to be now, considering the fact that this week on Dynamite, Jungle Boy is going to be facing Adam Cole, which I'm 100% excited about. You know, Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy, count me freaking in. Just count me in. Count me in. That match is going to be bonkers this Wednesday on Dynamite. But we got Powerhouse Hobbs versus CM Punk. I'm going to go through the match, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. The match starts. We get a drop kick by Punk. We get a couple of kicks by Punk. We get a bunch, and I mean loud CM Punk chants by the crowd because the crowd loves CM Punk in New York. We get a headbutt by Hobbs. We get shots to the back of Hobbs by Punk. Then we get a drop toe hold by Punk. We get a couple of kicks by Punk. He hits a Russian leg sweep after that. Then after that, Punk flips off Powerhouse Hobbs with the middle finger, which looked hilarious, by the way. I love when they do that, and that's like a common occurrence in some weeks on AEW television. Of course, if you guys don't remember, during the first encounter of Christian Cage and Kenny Omega on the first episode of Rampage, in the beginning of the match, you had Christian just flip off Omega, and in this case, you have Punk doing that with Powerhouse Hobbs. Punk picks up Hobbs after that. Hook is then on the apron. We get a crossbody by Hobbs. We get a cover and a near fall. We get repeated shots by Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs at this point is in control and is working on CM Punk after that. Then Punk proceeds to fight back. We get a knee by Hobbs. Then he sends Punk to the corner. Then he sends Punk to the other corner. And then we get a right hand by Punk. Then Hobbs picks up Punk after that. We get a roll-up, and we get a 2 count. Then a body block by Hobbs, and then Hobbs continues to work on Punk after that. We go to commercial break. Then Hobbs works on Punk during the break. Just Hobbs was just dominating throughout the entire break. Then once we're back from commercial break, Hobbs is continuing to work on Punk. Punk proceeds to fight back, but then we get a waist lock by Powerhouse. Then we get a couple of elbows by Punk. We get a right hand by Hobbs. Both Punk and Hobbs are trying to exchange shots. Then Punk hits a leg lariat after that. We get a swinging neck breaker by Punk. We get a running knee in the corner by Punk. Then Punk goes to the top. We get an elbow drop by Punk. We get a cover and a near fall. Then Punk picks up Hobbs for the GTS, but he counters with a spine buster, a devastating spine buster, I might add. We get a cover and a near fall. He picks up Punk, then Punk applies a sleeper hold. Then Hobbs goes down on one knee. Hobbs then hits a backdrop after that. Then Hobbs picks up Punk. We get a running stampede slam by Powerhouse Hobbs on CM Punk. Then Hobbs goes to the top. Punk goes back. We get a couple of right hands by Punk. Then Punk also goes to the top. Then Punk, once he's in the top, he gets caught trying to do a Hurricane Rana, but Powerhouse Hobbs caught him, I should say. But then after that, after struggling for a little while to try to get that Hurricane Rana, Punk succeeds in hitting the Hurricane Rana on Hobbs. Then, when he landed on when Hobbs landed from that Hurricane Rana, it looked like it was a botch right there. It looked like he landed on his head, which is a really, really bad scenario if you're a wrestler. Because if you're a wrestler, I'm not a wrestler, but usually wrestlers would tell you not to fall on your head. And every time when you take a bump, your head always got to be up. And because, that ring ain't no trampoline. And it looked like Hobbs hit his head, but he seemed fine after this. That looked really devastating. But we get a cover by Punk and a near fall. We get a couple of right forearms by Hobbs. Both exchange shots after that. We get a roundhouse kick by Punk. Then Hook is actually there, of course, Taz's son. Send Hook! He comes in and tries to make the distraction, but then Hobbs, by accident, runs into Hook. Then Punk hits the GTS on Powerhouse Hobbs. We get a cover and a 1, 2, 3. CM Punk wins this match. Overall thoughts on this match, I thought this was a really, really good match. Punk looked great. He looked great in this match. Powerhouse Hobbs got a lot of offense in this match. That elbow drop from the top looked freaking awesome, and I loved the shot of, CM Punk just doing that elbow drop. It looked exactly like the shot from WWE. Just seeing that elbow drop from CM Punk on TNT is just insane. I can't believe I'm talking about CM Punk wrestling in 2021. We had Bryan Danielson going up against Kenny Omega, which ended in a draw, and now we got CM Punk wrestling on television in the same week on Rampage, which is freaking awesome, and I'm really excited to see the future matches that CM Punk is going to have. I'm still waiting and I know for a fact this is definitely going to happen. We have to see Kenny Omega versus CM Punk on pay-per-view. If that match happens on pay-per-view, those two guys are going to absolutely kill it. But yeah, man, those are my thoughts on CM Punk's first wrestling match in 7 years. Overall thoughts, man. Just a bonkers this match was just bonkers. This match was extremely bonkers. Really great to see CM Punk finally back in wrestling. I mean, this is the second time he's wrestling. This is the second time he wrestled in AEW so far, but I mean, all the matches that CM Punk is wrestling right now, he's just wrestling the young guys. You know what? That is awesome to see. And, it's not a scenario in which, the young guys are losing and that means that they're automatically buried. No, it's not really about whether you win or lose the match booking-wise. It's making the wrestlers look good. And in this case, Powerhouse Hobbs looked great. And, losing this match doesn't affect him booking-wise. It does not affect him at all. Unlike in WWE, they don't really care about building the foundation for their talent. Really, in WWE, you can definitely see that winning and losing can really result to failure on the main roster, and that's how it is. And the booking in WWE is atrocious. You can clearly see the difference when you're watching an AEW show and a WWE show booking-wise. And, with AEW, I feel like their booking is much better than the WWE, and they showed it right here. We got a video package of Thunder Rosa, Jade, and Nyla Rose just talking smack. Then we got our next matchup of the evening. We got the SuperKliq. Adam Cole, Bay, and Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, the former AEW World Tag Team Champions, going up against the Impact World Champion, the Instant Classic. Yes, I'm going to call him the Instant Classic from his TNA days because he's the Impact World Champion. So he is the Instant Classic. Christian Cage and Jurrasic Express, both Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Really good match. This match, of course, they had a lot of spots because it's the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks love doing all these crazy high spots. But I will admit, man, the crowd, once the SuperKliq came out, and Adam Cole came out, because Adam Cole and the Young Bucks had separate entrances, but all three of them walked together in the ring. And I will say this, man, Adam Cole, it is so over with the crowd. The crowd loves Adam Cole. You can clearly see the reaction that New York gave Adam Cole once he made his entrance at Arthur Ashe Stadium. It was just freaking awesome to see. It was so awesome to see, and I'm just so happy that Adam Cole made the decision to move to AEW, because we heard all these stories that if Adam Cole stayed with the WWE and he went to the main roster, the main roster was most likely going to change Adam Cole's name and be Keith Lee's manager, which is a no-no for a lot of fans, because we all know how great of a talent Adam Cole is. And, Adam Cole is a main event star in the making, and he is still in the prime of his career. A lot of people say he's not even in the prime of his career. He's only 32 years old. The guy has a lot of years left in his tank. And you know what? You love to see it. You just love to see I should say the overness of Adam Cole, man. It's just so awesome to see, man. But, the crowd reaction for Adam Cole was fucking awesome. But the match starts. Christian Cage and Adam Cole start, but Adam Cole, being your typical heel as usual, tags Matt Jackson. Matt and Cage both lock up. Then Cage with push-ups on Matt Jackson, on top of Matt Jackson, I should say. We got a right hand by Cage, and then we get a kick by Matt. We get a right hand by Matt, and then we get a couple of chops in the corner by Cage. Then we get repeated rights by Cage. We get a right hand by Cage after that. Cage goes to the top and hits a diving uppercut. Then he tags Jungle Boy. We got a double team attempt by Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. We got a drop kick by Jungle Boy after that. Nick tags in. We got a chop block by Nick. Matt tags in. Jungle Boy then works on both Matt and Nick Jackson. Then we got a double arm drag by Jungle Boy. Then Jungle Boy chases Adam Cole outside the ring. The Bucks then super kick Jungle Boy out of nowhere. So instead of RKO out of nowhere, it's SuperKliq out of nowhere. We get a kick by Luchasaurus. Then we get a kick by Nick Jackson. Then Nick, after that, misses a moonsault. Then Matt hits a double drop kick. Then Adam Cole tags in. Cole applies a submission attempt, and the Bucks hit a double drop kick on Luchasaurus. So awesome ass spot. I don't know what that was. I think that was a clutch. I don't even remember the name of that submission, but a lot of wrestlers do it. Shame on me for not knowing that. I should really pay attention more. But that was an awesome spot. You had the Young Bucks just run the ropes how many times? 3 times, and then they just hit that double drop kick. Fucking badass. Again, you gotta love the SuperKliq, right? But then we go to commercial break, and once we're back from break, the Bucks are in control over Jungle Boy. We get a boot by Jungle Boy. Then Nick hits a sunset flip. Then Luchasaurus tags in. We get a boot on Adam Cole. We get a couple of chops by Luchasaurus. He drops Matt, and then we get a double clothesline by Luchasaurus after that. Then he takes both Bucks. The Bucks miss a double super kick after that. They missed that spot. And then Cole misses the pump kick. Then Luchasaurus chokeslams Cole on Matt Jackson, I should say. I was about to say on the mat, but no. He chokeslams him on Matt Jackson. Then he chokeslams Nick, and then we get a cover, and Matt Jackson makes the save for the near fall. Then Cage goes after Matt Jackson. Jungle Boy tags in. We get a super kick by Cole and Nick. We get a reverse DDT by Cage. And then after that, Cage tries to go for the kill switch, but Matt just hits a super kick. Then I don't even know what the hell is going on in my notes, bro. I was taking notes so fast that my words got mixed up. We get a DDT by Matt Jackson, and then Nick goes to the top. Jungle Boy then hits a Hurricane Rana. Then he goes after Nick. Cage with a frog splash on Matt Jackson as well. We get a cover and a near fall. Jungle Boy applies the snare trap. Doc Gallows then tries to interfere. Then we get a super kick by Matt Jackson. Matt Jackson then hits the clothesline. Then, at this point, the hot tags from both teams are made. Then Cage and Luchasaurus after that brawl. Everybody at this point brawls in the match, so it's a whole crazy, there's just a lot of craziness going on at this point. We get a right hand by Cole, and then we get double pump kicks by Cole and Luchasaurus. Jungle Boy then takes out both Matt and Nick Jackson. Jungle Boy then runs into a super kick by Nick on the elevated ramp, because this week both Dynamite and Rampage had an elevated ramp. Most weeks they don't. Then Cage hits a spear on the ramp on Matt Jackson. Then Matt hits a low blow. Matt throws Cage onto the outside. Then the Bucks throw Jungle Boy to the outside, and Luchasaurus stands up after that. Cole gets caught. We got a Shining Wizard by Cole, and then he hits the all-powerful Panama Sunrise. Then we get the BTE trigger by Cole. We get the boom, or the last shot, whatever the hell you want to call it. I think it was the last shot. It was definitely the last shot, but in a different position. I have to rewatch the match. But he hits the boom, and then we get on Luchasaurus, we get a cover, and the SuperKliq wins the match. Overall thoughts on this match. I thought this was a really, really good match. Adam Cole, as usual, looked great in this match. You know, his match against Frankie Kazarian last week on Dynamite was freaking awesome. You know, I'm going to be honest, I've marked the fuck out when Adam Cole hit the last shot on Frankie Kazarian. I literally yelled. I was like, last shot! Last shot! Like, I was dead ass marking out for Adam Cole during his first match in AEW against Frankie Kazarian. But this match with the SuperKliq, of course, being Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, they looked phenomenal. No pun intended in this match. They looked great. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy looked awesome. Christian Cage as well. You know, Christian Cage, again, at his age, Christian Cage looks great. He just looks awesome for his age. Like, he looks amazing. But yeah, we got the SuperKliq winning the match, and most likely the Elite and the SuperKliq are going to be standing tall and continue being elite, pun intended. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying that eventually, once Omega loses the AEW World Championship, a lot of people are saying that Adam Cole's going to turn on Omega, primarily Cole on Omega, and then we're going to have like the whole Elite versus SuperKliq feud going on. So it's kind of like the NWO splitting into two, which, you know, that is a theory that a lot of people are thinking about, which I honestly am 100% for. And then you got your Blood and Guts match for next year. You know, Blood and Guts is going to be huge next year, man. I want, you know, AEW, if you're watching this, please book Blood and Guts, because that's definitely going to be one of their quarterly specials on TNT. 100%. Please have that show be at the Prudential Center, because we were supposed to get that last year, but we did not. But yeah, that was that match with the SuperKliq winning. Now, what is the next match we got? We got Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page with Dan Lambert. Yes, Dan Lambert. You know, AEW has the balls to put Dan Lambert on television and just speak his mind out. That's basically Jim Cornette's role. Like, they should literally bring in a guy like Jim Cornette and cut promos like that as well, because Jim Cornette is a very old school guy. But yeah, we got Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page with Dan Lambert, and I will admit, I love the pairing with Dan Lambert and Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, because I remember once they They paired both Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page earlier on this year. I was kind of like, I'm not really invested in them as I should be, because I just didn't really care. I looked at them as jobbers. I knew the talent that they had. I just wasn't invested in them because they really didn't have any mouthpiece. And I feel like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, they both cut really good promos. I'm just saying, I just didn't feel like there was any I don't know. I just didn't see anything in that team. And, adding Dan Lambert in makes it all better, in my opinion, and also American Top Team. I do not watch MMA. And yes, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager got their ass kicked by MMA fighters. I'll talk about that later on after the match. But, of course, Jericho comes out with Judas, the crowd singing Judas, best thing ever. I was there last week on Dynamite at the Prudential Center singing Judas until I had no voice. But yeah, let's get on with the whole match. Jericho and Sky Star both lock up. We get a couple of chops by Jericho. We get a backdrop by Jericho. Jericho then flips off Page. Bro, a lot of flipping of the middle finger going on in this show. I don't know why. Jericho then, he hits multiple clotheslines in the corner on Sky. Hager tags in. We get a double team attempt by Hager and Jericho. Then we get a jawbreaker. Then Page tags in. We get a hip toss by Hager. Then Hager works on Page in the corner. We get a belly-to-belly suplex by Jake Hager. Jericho tags in. We get a couple of chops by Jericho. And then we get a kick by Jericho. Ethan Page hits a high kick after that. Then he continues to work on Page. Sky tags in during the commercial break. Then Jericho hits a crossbody. Hager is on a roll during the commercial break. So all the stuff that's going on right now recently, what I've stated recently, is going on during the commercial break. I was actually paying attention to the picture-in-picture break because I usually never pay attention to it. Then we get but once we're back from break, we get a shoulder tackle by Page on Hager on the outside, I should say. Then Sky works on Hager. We get a chop block by Sky. Page tags in. He works on Hager, and then we get a double clothesline by both wrestlers. Then Jericho tags in. We got a shoulder tackle by Jericho on Sky. We get a springboard dropkick by Jericho. Then after that, Jericho takes Sky off of the top. Then we get a line salt. Bro, my notes right here says Lion Daily. I was legit rushing in my notes while I was watching this match. It's hard to keep up with the whole match if it's going on mad quickly and taking notes. But Jericho hits the Lion Salt. He hits that Lion Salt. We get a cover and a near fall. Hager tags in. Hager then takes out Sky. He hits the Hager bomb on Sky. We get a cover and a near fall. Then he drops Sky after that. Then Hager applies the ankle lock. We get a roll up by Sky, and then we get a near fall. Hager then plants Sky to the mat after that, and we get a cover, and Page makes the save. Jericho then hits a crossbody on Page onto the outside. Then Hager hits a slam. Hager then hits a big boot. We get an inside cradle by Sky, and keep in mind that, Daniel Lambert actually tried to interfere near the end of this match, and what happens, it actually caused Jericho and Hager the match. So Sky and Ethan Page win the match. Then, after that, Jericho take Dan Lambert, and they're about to attack him, but what happens? American Top Team comes in and just beat the shit out of Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. And yeah, that was the whole match. What are my thoughts? I do not watch MMA or UFC. I mean, UFC and MMA are the same thing. But I do not watch MMA. And, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually interested in this stuff because, if you're an MMA fan watching this show, and I'm that type of guy that, look, I do not watch MMA, but, a lot of MMA fans and a lot of wrestling fans always say, oh, you can only like one thing, but you can like both. The same thing with WWE and AEW. It's okay to like both. And I don't watch MMA. I'm being 100% honest. I do not watch MMA. But, for a wrestling fan that is also an MMA fan watching this, it satisfies them as well. So, that's great to see. And it basically introduces you to a lot of people that you don't really know. Because I do not watch MMA at all. I'm going to be 100% honest. I do not watch MMA. All right, we got the Butcher and the Blade and Private Party, so the HFO, going up against the Lucha Bros and Santana and Ortiz. What are my thoughts on this match? Overall thoughts on this match is that this match was fucking amazing. You know, Santana and Ortiz looked great. The Lucha Bros looked great. All the spots that these guys were doing during the match was freaking awesome. Like, they were the MVPs of the entire match. Forget about Butcher and the Blade. I mean, even Private Party. And Private Party is one of my favorite tag teams in AEW. They're amazing at what they do. But literally, the Lucha Bros and Santana and Ortiz were 100% the MVPs of this match. I mean, like, bro, like that moonsault and also somersault that all four of those guys did over the top rope, like that was an awesome ass spot in my opinion. Like, it was an amazing spot to see and a really great visual in my opinion. But I'm gonna get on with the match. Again, the match was amazing. You know, by far one of the best matches, if not the best match of the night in my opinion. Again, you know, I got mixed up with my notes because there was a lot of spots happening. Like this match in particular, you know, you can say that the SuperKliq match was a whole spot fest because, you know, the Young Bucks love doing all these crazy high spots, and I've stated this before earlier on in the video. But I mean, this whole match was a whole spot fest, and that's a good thing. You know, a lot of the wrestlers got to shine in this match, but again, the favorites in this match were, of course, the babyfaces, the Lucha Bros, and Santana and Ortiz. So the match starts. Everybody proceeds to brawl, so there's a whole brawl going on. Butcher and the Blade gets sent to the outside. We get a double thrust kick by the Lucha Bros. Private Party gets taken to the outside after that. Then both Santana and Ortiz and the Lucha Bros take out HFO with, as I stated earlier, that somersault mixed in with the moonsault. So two wrestlers hit a somersault, and two wrestlers from both corners of the ring hit a freaking moonsault. Bruh, amazing ass spot. One of the best spots I've seen. And again, as I've stated earlier, the camera shot had a great visual of that. We got a double team attempt by Santana and Pentagon. We got a DDT by Ortiz. At this point, Phoenix is the legal man. If I miss a couple of spots, bear with me because I feel like I kind of missed a couple of spots because there's just a lot of things going on all at once. Matt Hardy then grabs the hair of Santana. After that, of course, Matt Hardy wants to shave the head of Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy actually comes out and hits the orange punch on Jack Evans, who tried to interfere in the match. We get a couple of chops by Butcher in the corner on Phoenix. We go to commercial break, and once we're back from break, we get a stunner by Santana. Then we get a king blower by Ortiz. Then we get a thrust kick by Santana. Then Mark Quinn counters into a Hurricane Rana. After that, we get a boot by Santana, and then we get a stunner by Isaiah Cassidy from the top. Then after that, we get a thrust kick by Penta. We get a backbreaker on Cassidy by Penta. We get a roundhouse kick by Penta. Then we get a crossbody by Butcher. Phoenix gets caught. We get a roundhouse kick by Phoenix. Then we get a pump kick by Blade. We get a clothesline by Blade, and then we get a knee by Blade. Then Mark Quinn is on the top after that, and then he misses the all-famous shooting star press that he does. Then we get a sling blade by Pentagon, and then the Lucha Bros hit the Fear Factor, and then we get a street sweeper by Santana and Ortiz, and Santana and Ortiz and the Lucha Bros win the match. Again, this was by far the best match of the night. I mean, every match was great. Every match was really, really good, but in my opinion, I thought this was a really, really good match. And Santana and Ortiz and the Lucha Bros absolutely killed it in this match, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for Santana and Ortiz and the Lucha Bros. I mean, of course, the Lucha Bros are the current, and the new, I should say, AEW World Tag Team Champions, but in the near future, I do believe that these guys are going to be wrestling, and we're most likely going to be seeing Santana and Ortiz win the tag team titles because I am waiting for a tag team title push for these two guys, Santana and Ortiz. Tony Schiavone backstage interviews Matt Hardy. So how come Matt Hardy teleports from with a ring to backstage is beyond me. I'm kidding. Of course, they pre-taped this, so that's why everything is rushed. But Tony Schiavone interviews Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's just pissed off, and he challenges Cassidy in a hair versus hair match with Jack Evans, and Jack Evans is like, What the hell? I shouldn't be part of this match. But whatever. He's going to be wrestling Jack Evans, and most likely, Jack Evans is going to get his head shaved. I just think that's going to be the case. We get Sammy Guevara with Fuego del Sol. Of course, Fuego del Sol lost his car last week on Rampage. I do not know why you would put up your new car on the line, but hey, it is what it is. So Sammy Guevara is with Fuego del Sol and holds up the signs as he usually does during the picture-in-picture breaks. But the only problem with this is that we were not on a picture-in-picture break. Then Miro, out of nowhere, just walks up to them from behind and just attacks them out of nowhere. Sammy tries to fight back, and then we get a clothesline by Miro on the stage. Then Fuego del Sol jumps on Miro from behind. But what happens, Miro throws Fuego off of that stage, and it looked like Fuego just fell off of a large platform, which the stage is, but it looked like he fell off a freaking building, bro. Literally, Fuego sold that like $1 million, bro. This dude sold that fall like crazy, in my opinion. But bro, that was a crazy ass moment. And then Miro after that applies the game over submission. I think that's what it's called now. On Guevara, and then he rips the sign. Of course, Sammy Guevara and Miro are going to be wrestling this Wednesday on Dynamite. What are my predictions for that? I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen in this match, and I think the match is going to be really good. A part of me thinks that Sammy Guevara is going to actually take the title because, Sammy Guevara is a main event star in the making, in my opinion. Guys like MJF, Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin are the four guys I look at as the future main eventers of AEW for the next 15 years, bro. These guys are solidified main event guys, in my opinion. But, who do I think is going to be winning this match? I mean, there's a lot of scenarios that can happen. Sammy Guevara could possibly win this match, but at the same time, the way that they're booking Miro, I mean, Miro is being booked extremely well and being booked extremely strong as the reigning TNT champion. I do not know what's going to happen, but, if Miro retains the title, I do not have any problem with it. And if Sammy Guevara wins the title, I do not have any problem either because you're elevating your young talent. Basically, we have a video package on Andrade, of course, talking about Chavo and all that stuff, and also talking about Pac. And then he says he will beat Pac again. We got Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford from HFO, of course. Last week, Anna Jay faced off against the Bunny. She wrestled the Bunny, and of course, we saw Anna Jay win that match. But the Bunny and Penelope Ford eventually attacked Anna Jay and Ty Conti as well. This was kind of weird because one part that, in my opinion, didn't make sense during the match is that last week you had Ty Conti come in with Anna Jay, but this week Anna Jay did not come with Ty Conti, but the Bunny came with Penelope Ford. And then, at the end of the match, after Anna Jay, well, actually, no, did Anna Jay win the match? I don't even remember. But I think Penelope Ford won the match. Did she? I gotta check. Holy crap, I am really stupid right now, bro. Penelope Ford actually won the match. I was about to say Anna Jay when I was like, no, that must be wrong. Penelope Ford actually won the match, and then you had Penelope Ford and the Bunny attack Anna Jay, and then Ty Conti just comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, you didn't come out with her in the beginning of the match, that made absolutely no sense. But I mean, this was a pretty short match. The match was not bad, but it was a pretty short match. Anna runs into Ford before the match even starts. Then the bell rings. Then Ford gets taken to the outside. She sends Ford to the post and then takes Ford to the corner of the apron. We get an elbow by Anna Jay. Then we get a running back elbow. We get a kick by Anna Jay, then applies the Queen Slayer. Bunny is on the ramp, and then from behind, Ford works on Anna Jay. We get a running boot by Ford after that. Ford then continues to work on Anna Jay. Then we go to commercial break, but once we're back from break, both Ford and Anna are exchanging shots, or it looked like they were facing up, but it looked like, that was a scenario in which they were exchanging shots. We get slaps by both women. Then we get a waist lock by Anna, and then we get a Queen Slayer by Anna Jay. Then after that, the referee gets distracted. Ford uses the brass knucks, so she basically cheated, and hits Anna. We get a cover, 1, 2, 3, and Penelope Ford wins the match. Again, really short match, not really the best match, but it was not a bad match. But in my opinion, I think the women's division for AEW is really becoming the hottest women's division in the world, man. If you were to tell me that their women's division, like I was the type of guy that really wasn't as invested in AEW's women's division when they first started. When AEW first started, I wasn't as invested in the women's division. But if you compare 2019 to 2021, you can definitely see the improvement. And it's going to be a bigger improvement because they're going to be moving to TBS. And I believe it was reported that they're going to be introducing a TBS championship, but it's going to be for the women, which is going to be awesome. So they're going to have a mid-card championship for the women. So the men have the TNT championship and the women have the TBS championship. That is awesome, in my opinion. I think it's a great decision by AEW. But again, their women's division is improved drastically, in my opinion, and the amount of talent that these people got. And I think Anna Jay is going to be definitely a main eventer in the next couple of years, in my opinion. Penelope Ford as well. Like, I could just imagine the match that she had with the Hikaru Shida last year on Dynamite, man. It was a really, really good match. Penelope Ford looked great. But yeah, Mark Henry, of course, does his interview before the main event, and as I stated on my previous Rampage reviews, this whole main event line from Mark Henry is going to get over like a sailor. It's going to get over like crazy with the fans. I guarantee you that. Watch in a couple months that every time when Mark Henry says it's time for the main event, the fans are going to say it during the exact same time as he said it. But both, of course, Suzuki, Archer, and then Moxley and Kingston cut their respective promos before the main event. So we got Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston in a Lights Out match, a.k.a. a non-sanctioned match. AEW's Lights Out matches are freaking bonkers, man. I love their Lights Out matches. Of course, I can think of the Lights Out match that Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley had at Full Gear down in Baltimore back in 2019, November of 2019, which was a really, really good match. And also that Lights Out match that Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker had at that St. Patrick's Day episode of Dynamite a couple months ago. Lights Out matches for AEW are awesome. They're really awesome. But Suzuki and Archer, they come out and, we have that loud and amazing Kaze ni Nare. I went apeshit when and look, this is coming from somebody that didn't even know who the hell Minoru Suzuki was until All Out. I did not know who the hell he was when he came out. I'm be straight up. But, I was doing a little research on Minoru Suzuki, and, he did that whole Kazanita, they were doing that whole Kazanita thing, and I went apeshit for that because I became obsessed with his theme song. Of course, Moxley and Kingston come out, both brawl. Suzuki grabs a chair. He brings the chair for Moxley, and then both hit chairs repeatedly on each other on the ramp. Then Kingston and Suzuki fight it out on the ramp. My bad. We get a couple of chops by Kingston, then we get a couple of chops by Suzuki. Then Kingston takes out Suzuki. Then Kingston takes out some tables. We get a stomp by Kingston, and we get a couple of chops in the corner on Suzuki. And then we get a kick by Suzuki. We get a couple of strikes by Suzuki after that. Kingston then gets sent through the table. Then we get a couple of strikes by Moxley on Archer. We get a boot by Lance Archer. Archer takes out the ring crew. It's so weird because, our Archer, look, Lance Archer, of course, you guys see Lance Archer. Every time when he comes out of the ring, he just attacks one random person. And, the unfortunate people that got attacked by Lance Archer in this case was the ring crew on the outside. So then Archer chokeslams Moxley on top of the ring crew on the outside of the ring. Then Archer grabs a strap. Moxley and Suzuki fight it out. Both exchange shots. And then we get a rear naked choke by Suzuki. Then Archer chokes Moxley with the strap. And then once we go to commercial break and we're back from break, Suzuki and Archer duct tape Moxley. So Moxley at this point is defenseless in the match. Again, this is a lights out match, so there's a lot of bullshit that's happening. Then they hit Moxley while he is duct taped. Moxley was duct taped in this match, and they hit Moxley with the freaking strap. I guarantee you that was freaking painful, man. Then they apply a single leg Boston Crab. Archer then has a trash can and hits it on Moxley. Suzuki grabs the Singapore cane, or a kendo stick, whatever you want to call it. I will call it a Singapore cane. And he pulls a Sandman and just hits it. We got a slam by Archer, and then Archer chokes Moxley with the strap again. Moxley spits in the face of Suzuki, and then we get a bunch of right hands by Suzuki, and then Suzuki bites the head of Moxley. Then Archer hits Moxley with the cane after that, and then hits it on the hand of Kingston. We get a couple of headbutts by Moxley, and then we get a couple of chops by Kingston. Then we get an enziguri by Eddie Kingston. We get a couple of chops on Archer. Then Archer gets his eyes gouged, or Kingston gouges the eyes of Archer. I think it was Kingston, right? I didn't write that in my notes. We get repeated chops on Archer. Then Kingston hits an exploder suplex. Then we get a sleeper hold by Suzuki. And then we get the helicoaster by Lance Archer after that. Then he proceeds to work on Moxley. Suzuki sets up the chairs back-to-back. 2 chairs back-to-back in the corner of the ring. Then, what happens, bro? Then this is a moment that I loved in this match. So out of nowhere, Homicide. Yes, if you guys do not know who Homicide is, Homicide was, of course, part of TNA, part of the original LAX back in 2006, bro. Yo, Homicide came out and got a huge ass reaction in New York, bro. It's fucking awesome to see. It's so awesome to see Homicide back in a pro wrestling ring. I think he still wrestles. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's so awesome to see Homicide back. But unfortunately, he gets taken out by Suzuki. So Homicide, makes a little cameo here in New York City because it is his hometown, I believe. But yeah, man, LAX all the way. I mean, the original LAX, of course, the original LAX was Hernandez, Homicide, and of course the head of LAX, Conan, back in the days of TNA during basically, a lot of people say, the prime days of TNA before Hogan and Bischoff came in and all that shit. But it's great to see Homicide, man. Suzuki then hits a chair on Moxley. Moxley at this point frees himself. Then we get a paradigm shift on Suzuki. Then we get a couple of back fists by Kingston. Then he hits, or Moxley, I should say. Moxley hits the paradigm shift as well on Lance Archer. Then Kingston takes a trash can, puts it over Archer's head. Then what happens? Kingston then hits repeated cane shots on the head of Lance Archer while he had the trash can over him. I guarantee you that was painful. And then we get a cover. Moxley and Kingston win this lights out match. Overall thoughts on this show. I thought this was, or on this match, I should say, before I talk about the show. Overall thoughts on this match is that I thought this was a really, really good match. Both teams tore the house down. Minoru Suzuki, Lance Archer was great, looked great. John Moxley, I mean, bro, this dude took a freaking beating in that match. And, John Moxley is one crazy son of a bitch. And that's awesome to see, man. But, dude, he took a freaking beating with those strap shots while he was duct taped. I guarantee that shit was painful for him, man. And then you also had a lot, you had a lot of kendo stick shots or cane shots. I call it a Singapore cane because, ECW, all that shit. I call it a Singapore cane. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want, but whatever, man, But it was awesome to see Homicide in the match make a little cameo in the match, and try to help Moxley and Kingston in the match, bro. It was so awesome to see Homicide in that scenario. Homicide, a freaking legend. When I think of Homicide, I think of LAX, the original LAX. That's when I think of Homicide. But, it was awesome to see Homicide in the match. And overall thoughts on this special 2-hour episode of Rampage is that I thought Rampage was a really, really good episode. Awesome-ass show, in my opinion. All the matches mattered, in my opinion. All the matches were really good. Once the show started, they went immediately straight to the action. There was no opening segment, and this is the case with both Dynamite and Rampage. They always start off hot. They always start off hot and stuff, and it's just great to see, in my opinion. But, that was Rampage from September 24th. Again, great show. The Arthur Ashe crowd was freaking awesome. Hopefully AEW returns to Arthur Ashe Stadium in the near future. And, AEW, again, AEW is the hottest place to be in professional wrestling, the hottest promotion in professional wrestling. And I do think WWE got some competition in their hands. Maybe not ratings-wise, but creatively, man, bruh, AEW is literally kicking the WWE's ass creatively. And you know what? You love to see it. I love to see it. Everybody loves to see it. Every single wrestling fan loves to see it. And it is a great time to be a wrestling fan. So, yeah, that was my Rampage review from September 24th, 2021. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below. Push that bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Follow me on social media on both Twitter and Instagram. I got a lot of stuff going on both Instagram and Twitter. Be on the lookout for all of my future uploads. I don't know if I'm going to be uploading my SmackDown review on Saturday, or I should say today. Probably I'm going to change the schedule up and have Rampage be uploaded on Saturday and SmackDown uploaded on Sunday, but we'll see. We got Extreme Rules. I do not care about that pay-per-view, but yeah, that is my AEW Rampage review, and be on the lookout for my future videos. And this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.